It's not like the government is listening to everybody's conversation.
Trump administration considering social credit score system to determine who can buy a gun. Just like the one in China. With the help of DARPA.
DARPA is really an engine inside the Defense Department, challenging our military services to think differently.
Stephen Walker is DARPA's director.
It's important for DARPA to understand the technology, to then be able to explain it to our warfighters and our policymakers, and not be surprised by its use or misuse by a peer adversary.
DARPA helped create the internet, unmanned aerial drones, prosthetic limbs, and Siri.
Of some of the ways in which the Chinese regime is engaging in this totalitarian surveillance and direction of its citizens.
What is social credit in China? What do I do to accumulate a social credit score of one type or other?
Everywhere she goes, Ouyang Haoyu is followed. What she buys, how she behaves, is tracked and scored to show how responsible and trustworthy she is. It's called the social credit system.
This has nothing to do with cash, has nothing to do with keeping the black market off, has nothing to do with convenience, has nothing to do with neat little ways to have an e-wallet.
It's a mechanism like pushes you to become a better citizen.
It's big data meets Big Brother, expanding how the government monitors, understands, and ultimately controls its 1.4 billion citizens.
Your life will be grave if you misbehave. China, the country, not the fine dinnerware, has rolled out a social credit system to spy on the behavior of its massive population. The reason? This from a government document. Keeping trust is glorious and breaking trust is disgraceful.
By 2020, China plans to give all of its 1.4 billion citizens a personal score based on how they behave. So some people with low scores are already being punished if they want to travel. Nearly 11 million Chinese people can no longer fly, and 4 million are barred from trains. Next week, the program will start expanding nationwide. Ben Tracy.
The government here says it is trying to purify society by rewarding those who are trustworthy and punishing those who are not. So like the credit score that most Americans get for how they handle their finances, Chinese citizens are now getting social credit scores based on everything from whether they pay their taxes on time to how they cross the street.
So you might have by 2020 a perfect storm for the U.S. and the global economy.
We must make sure that those judged to pose a grave risk to public safety do not have access to firearms, and that if they do, those firearms can be taken through rapid due process. That is why I have called for red flag laws, also known as extreme risk protection orders.
Where are the Republicans? I mean, Mitch McConnell said he's not going to oppose Trump on anything here when it comes to guns. But, you know, you'd think a conservative would come out and say, look, we're not going to, gun buybacks, that's confiscation. I mean, it's a nice way of saying confiscation. I haven't seen any Republicans come out and say they're not going to confiscate your guns. So it doesn't seem like there's been any clarity for the American people on this. And they are worried about having their guns taken away. There's so many people in middle America who use these guns to hunt. They're, law-abiding, peaceful citizens that just want to be left alone. And they don't want a criminal or any criminal to dictate what rights or what the government can omit in the Bill of Rights.
So, picture your life in a place where everything you do, what you buy, how you behave, is tracked. The government gives you a score, and the score is a measure of how trustworthy you are as a citizen and determines what you're allowed to do, like ever. Boarding a train, getting a mortgage, all goes back to this score. It's called social credit. It sounds like that show Black Mirror, but it's actually happening in China. So how does that change you? Does it change you? What does your life look like when your every move is watched?
Digital cashless society isn't coming. It's here.
When's the last time you paid with cash? Well, chances are cash has taken a backseat to the plastic in your wallet and smartphone pay apps.
It has never been easier to go cash-free. Pay a bill at a restaurant, catch a cab, send money to a friend. With just a push of a button, peer-to-peer payment services are exploding.
Tens of millions of Americans use them every year, and it's growing very fast.
And it's not just consumers who are shifting away from paper money. Businesses are also jumping on this trend as well.
You start with 1,000 points, and you can print out your report anytime. You lose points for things like jaywalking, littering, tossing cigarette butts, or spreading rumors. Cameras do a lot of the surveillance work, but it's pretty analog too, like posters that list the ways you can gain or lose points. And each night, local TV shows the surveillance highlights of the day. And then there's Zhou Aini. She's an information collector, a paid enforcer who walks around and writes down deeds about her neighbors. Like the man who carried a drunk person home. Things like this are good deeds, she said. But the farmer overheard swearing and being rude, yeah, bad deeds. Her quota is 10 a month. She likes the work, thinks the city's better for it. The thing about the social credit system is that there isn't one single system, not yet. Different places have different rules.
Number 8. We will finally complete the biometric entry-exit visa tracking system, which we need desperately. In my administration, we will ensure that this system is in place. And I will tell you, it will be on land, it will be on sea, it will be in air. We will have a proper tracking system.
So what do you do if you have bad social credit? Well, for one, you talk about it on Weibo, which is like Twitter. There are forums for discredited people to vent and get advice. In Chongqing, we hooked up with Huang Huijun. He had a business until he was sued by a client, and Huang refused to pay 90 grand to settle it. So the court put him on a social credit blacklist, and things got way worse. He explains that being blacklisted means he can't buy airplane or train tickets. When he tries, a message pops up saying he's discredited. By the end of last year, blacklisted people were blocked from booking 23 million flights and 5 million high-speed train trips. And the list goes on. Being discredited makes it hard to get a job, a loan, a hotel room, or put kids in certain schools. Then there's the public shaming, photo galleries of blacklisted citizens. There's even an app that shows who around you is in debt.
You know, if you go out and you want to buy groceries, you need a picture on a card. You need ID. You go out and you want to buy anything, you need ID and you need your picture.
This is the mark of the beast. This is, listen, no, let me tell you something. I mean, I'm no biblical scholar here, but it's amazing the parallels made. Now listen, let's get down to brass tacks. Would you, not you, I wish they'd stop with this. They go, we're going cashless. We've been cashless. Where's this cash? Ever buy a house with cash or a car? We've got this. I don't even have, I got a couple of bucks. We've been cashless. But that's not the issue. One of these days, these kids, I think you call them millennials or something, they're gonna take these little tiny RFID, radio frequency identification chips, about the size of a grain of rice. And they're gonna be cool, Scotty. Oh, they're gonna be waiting in line overnight to get implanted. And they're gonna say, look at this. I can go to the drugstore, I can go to a cab. Isn't it great? How cool am I? Look, I've got this little embedded chip. And they'll say, they have medical records. And you're gonna do that to grandma and grandpa in case, God forbid, they have some kind of dementia they're walking off. I mean, after all, we have it in our dogs, right? It's like OnStar for human beings. But here's the catch. One of these days, God forbid, Scotty, they find you guilty of something. And you go before a court. And they say, we're going to sentence you to prison? No. We're going to turn your chip off. And you don't exist. Everything. In fact, people are going to notice that when you walk up, they're going to say, who is this? You're not registering. You say, it's me. What do you mean, who is this? No, you're not showing up on this. You don't exist. If you think I'm kidding, this is Elba. This is like some type of a prison. And people are going to be, one of these days, enslaved by this chip that will replace you.
In China, being monitored is nothing new. But algorithmic surveillance makes it possible to collect data to build detailed profiles of people, especially the ones not loyal to the government. Of all the video surveillance cameras on the planet right now, nearly half of them are in China. Are people bothered by privacy concerns?
So we think the lot of camera keep the safety is really good things. A lot of people, we can accept it.
And cameras are getting smarter. So the information that comes up from my image identifies that I'm female, middle-aged, talks about whether I'm wearing glasses, the shape of my face. AI is taking them next level. They can do more than just see. They actually understand who they're seeing. So at what point can the technology know too much? Does it already?
Most time, people don't care about it. But if the technology learns too much, for example, cross the red line, it's not very good.
How far off are we from needing to draw those red lines?
It's very hard to say. I think maybe decades, I mean 10 years or 20 years, 15 years, maybe.
That's not very long.
Yeah.
It's coming.
It's coming.
Obviously, just massive government overreach. The government doesn't have the right to dole out our constitutional rights. They are inherent rights that the government cannot violate. But the second part of this is the practicality of it. And that would be if, operating under this premise, we had a social credit score where the government was snooping on us via our Amazon Echoes, via our Apple smartwatches, via all of our social media posts.
This is about successive approximation, incremental steps, and the habituation of society to eventually having a chip, RFID, something placed in you. This is how we're moving. We start off with something innocuous about, we don't want those drug dealers to, oh yes, that's right, because you not being able to pay with cash at the drugstore is going to prevent the next El Chapo. It's the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard in your life. And then what happens is Amazon is doing its Amazon Go stores, where you walk in. And you see what's interesting, Scotty, is you don't have to take out your phone or your wallet. It just picks up the fact that who you are, and you can take stuff off the counter, off the shelf. This is great. And you walk out and you love it.
You know, I'm always able to track my receipts and my expenditures really easily. It's on my credit cards. I mean, literally cent for cent. I know what I'm spending, and I'm not losing change every single day.
Then you don't have to worry about any kind of cabs or money or drugstores. And then eventually, they're going to say you don't even need a wallet. And then we're going to say, you know what? Let's just really go, not only cashless, but stuffless, phoneless, chipless.
It's much more efficient and easy to be able to manage electronic payment systems in this day and age than having to deal with both cash and electronic payment systems.
The moment, remember this, mark this, somebody put this in the museum, the moment that human beings in this country stand up and wait online to have an RFID chip placed in them, it is over, because we become the chip. We are an organic molecule surrounded, basically, we're like a transmitter, surrounded by a carbon shell. We become the chip.
The trend that could lead to the dying dollar.
Hi there, how you doing?
I am wonderful.
I am so sorry. That flight is canceled.
No.
Customer incident at the other end.
What? So when is the next flight?
Yeah, they're all kind of full.
I booked this weeks ago. It's my best friend's wedding.
I'm sorry.
I have to get there. I have to.
Okay, let's see what we can do.
Oh, thank you.
I see there's one standby seat on another plane leaving tonight. That's reserved for members of our Prime Flight program. You got to be a 4.2 or over to qualify.
Oh, I'm a 4.2.
I'm afraid you're actually a 4.183.
Oh. Well, that's not my fault. Some woman dinged me down in the couch. Can't you just...
I'm sorry, it won't let me book it without the correct ranking.
But it's so close.
There's just nothing I can do.
Christ, I mean, surely.
I'm gonna have to ask you to moderate your language then.
Sorry, it's just... I'm maid of honor. I cannot miss this wedding.
And I am so sorry about that.
Can you call the supervisor?
I cannot do that.
Can you just call the supervisor?
I cannot do that.
Call the fucking supervisor.
Okay, that's profanity. We're zero tolerance on profanity.
I'm sorry, it's just...
Yeah, I have to serve the next customer.
No.
Step away, ma'am.
You've got to fucking help me! I'm so sorry.
I've called security.
Oh, no, please don't do that. I'm a 5-starring you. 5 stars.
What's the issue here, Hannah?
Intimidation and profanity.
Oh, no. I was not intimidating.
speak, ma'am.
I was just trying to...
Okay, so, in order to restore calm, I'm invoking my authority as airport security to dock you 1 full ranking point as a punitive measure. This is a temporary measure.
No!
Your score reverts to normal in 24 hours.
No, but I
During
need
this
it
probationary
now.
period, all down votes are subject to a ×2 multiplier.
×2?
We recommend you avoid negative feedback at this time.
I'm on double damage?
Please, remove yourself from the airport immediately.
This video is to bring awareness of the system we are being sucked into. I say the abyss. Share this video with others, warn others what is going on. Also, if you guys want me to make a video on a specific subject, let me know which. I will try my best to see what I can find. If you want a shout out growing your channel, let me know so I can give you a shout out. And update, thank you for the prayers, my brothers and sisters. Everything is going good. And always remain productive and positive as much as we can. Thank you all for tuning in. With that all being said, have faith, remain vigilant, and God bless you all.